of violence going on in the home, just lots and lots of stuff, okay? So I came from that, and I told you guys how I had gotten into therapy pretty early on. I started running away at 12. They started coming after me, the system, the state. I started going into behavioral institutions, different things, learning things there. I got court ordered to a therapist at 14, and I had her for most of my life. And so I was lucky that way. But I fought it all for a long time too. When I was young like that, I was so numb. I didn't think any of that shit hurt me. I didn't think I felt any of it. I just wanted to go. I ran from everybody. I ran from the abusive household. I ran from the family. And I ran from the people that tried to help me. Anytime I could run, I just ran. You know, I'd run away from home and they'd catch me and put me in a foster home or a youth shelter or somewhere to get some help, and I'd be gone. Out the back door. Out the back door. I'm hitting the streets. By that time, by the time I was 12, so many things had happened to me at home, and I was so grown in the mind. Shit, I wasn't trying to go to school. I was like, man, you know what? I gotta get the hell out of here. These people, this isn't where I belong. I want to get on out. I want to be, out there in the streets with friends, older people, doing older people shit. That's a story for another day. So anyway, most of my life, though, I have really worked on myself, gone to therapy, studied psychology, really examined and done a lot of work on my childhood issues and what I went through, why, all these things. Married a couple of different times and went through a few different relationships here and there in the past. And I told you guys the timeline and how it all played out, and about my most recent relationship of 5 years. How I really thought I had my issues from the past a lot more under control and healed up than I actually did. I did not know until I got in this last relationship and things played out the way they did. Which going into it, I kind of knew. If you get involved with someone who has alcoholism, you can just about guarantee that there are going to be a lot of issues. And I went in hoping for the best. To a degree, I blinded myself. I did go in with the right intentions and trying to set it up the right way, but due to my own toxic past and issues and I guess unresolved, I triggered off and a trauma bond started. And that's my worst nightmare, because I told you in part 1 how I desperately tried to set all that up and where it wouldn't happen, where we would not do that, okay? But it happened. And I realized that, wow, as time went on, oh my God, we've got some severe issues. But it wasn't until just recently, just 2 or 3 weeks back, that it really clicked with me that I had severe abandonment issues. Because typically, I was always telling my partner, no, man, I don't have abandonment issues. We would talk about different things and work on different things together, and I would say, I don't have abandonment issues because my dad was overbearing, dominating, controlling, smothering. I couldn't have anything. He would invade my room and destroy all my stuff, control my personality, tell me what to wear, what to think, how to breathe. Everywhere I looked up, he was there. When I'd run away, he was right after my ass. It was crazy. So, for a long number of years, I was commitment phobic. I needed space. And even in this relationship, I like my personal space. I like some solitude sometimes. I'm a very independent type of person, not really super clingy. And so, but then I would have times as well where I would get super clingy to him, and where I would get really insecure and really concerned about, is this real? Am I loved enough? What are you doing? Because he had a whole host of issues that I had triggered off about, and it was keeping me stuck in a toxic cycle, a trauma bond with him, because my father was an alcoholic, okay? And so, but I was in the habit of telling him, I don't have abandonment issues. I know I get a little clingy sometimes, and I've had codependency issues, but I'm aware of those, and I work on them. It just didn't dawn on me that I do have severe abandonment issues. Typically, if it's not an obvious abandonment, the parent left you, the parents divorced and one of them left, perhaps one of them just didn't have enough time for you, ignored, couldn't spend time with you, worked too much. Unless it's an obvious abandonment like that, or it feels obviously abandoning, a lot of times people don't consider the other stuff that is abandonment as well. Okay, and remember the list I gave you in part 1. Okay, what happened to me and what's happened to a lot of other people that is complete and total abandonment. And I told you who helped me realize this. After all these years of having great mentors, studying psychology, having a great therapist, just all the whole 9 yards, it still never completely dawned on me that I have severe abandonment issues. Okay? And I told you who it was that clicked that off for me and helped me connect the dots. I talked about Sloan Bella. Yes, the psychic. No, she didn't do a reading for me, but a topic she was speaking on her channel one day, it all became so clear to me because of her life and what she lived through and how she was treated and what she discussed. It dawned on me, I do have fucking abandonment issues. Oh my God. Okay. And I'll tell you one more person that has also, in the last few months, really helped my mind to connect more dots and put together what's been wrong with me throughout this past 5-year relationship, what has been going on with my childhood cycles, and what's keeping me stuck in toxicity and not able to really break away from it, make a final decision, hold firm to my boundaries until some positive changes can be made. Why am I staying stuck in these toxic issues? Another person that really helped me connect the dots about childhood issues, abandonment, triggers. He explains it step by step, and I love the way he teaches it. Pete Sapper at Empath Uprising. You guys check out that channel if you have any of these issues I've been discussing, because you will get a lot of information, a lot of awareness, and your mind will it will really help you connect the dots. So, I would say, yeah, Pete Sapper over at Empath Uprising and Sloan Bella. In the past, I've been with Empath Uprising. I found their channel last year, and I found Sloan right after the pandemic hit about a year ago. But it was really just in the last 2 to 3 weeks of listening to certain topics on her channel. Between the two of them, yes, it just went off like light bulbs. It all came full circle for me. So sometimes you can have certain issues and literally not even be aware of it, okay? And you could have been working on that stuff for most of your life and still not be fully aware of what's really going on. So I gave you the list of what happened to me. Number 1, the alcoholic father. There you have it. He's not in his parental role. I'm just a child. He's checked out. He's drunk. He's acting childish, juvenile. That's checked out. That's abandonment. He didn't love me properly. Didn't protect me properly. Boom. Number 1, abandonment. My mother, checked out. Didn't see what was going on. Didn't feel it. Didn't check in on me. Didn't stand up for me. Couldn't. She was scared and weak and couldn't protect me. Boom. Number 2, check out. Abandonment. Number 3, my paternal grandmother told me, don't say those things about your father when this all came out. He'd never, that kind of talk. You know how toxic people do, toxic families, how they manipulate children and everyone else, how they try to silence you, shame you, tell you you're crazy. Do you know what that does to a child's mind, to program them that way? But I was told that, basically indicating you're crazy. Don't speak like that. Be ashamed of yourself. If I hadn't had therapy, how would I have ever have learned to, oh my God, work through all of this, be assertive? I probably wouldn't even know what the hell is going on. I don't even know if I'd be alive right now. After what I went through and the things that people tried to program in me, thank God for my therapist. So that happened. That's abandonment number 3. Now you see, And then number 4, in the end, after all this came out in the truth, my mother stuck by my father. And she never really talked to me about this. She never really said a word. I was taken off to foster care, and then I started an even bigger career of just running away. And she stuck by him. She went to visit him in prison, and she stuck by him the whole time. And nobody ever really discussed it. It was the weirdest thing ever. And then I'll talk about it later on the channel. My father and I's relationship as I grew up and grew older, and he got out of prison. But he did go to prison for this. That's right. And a cycle was broken in my family when that happened. So those are 4 things. Alcoholic father, mom didn't protect, grandma said shut up, don't talk about it, mom stuck by the dad, didn't stand. Those are 4 major things that I didn't even really realize that created complete and total abandonment, the feeling of abandonment in me. My entire family abandoned me, for sure. They didn't physically get up and leave me. And at times, my father stalked me down, ran after me, controlled, smothered, manipulated, But yes, think about it. Yeah, the whole entire family abandoned me. Think about what that does to a child. Every single one of them. That is all abandonment. And so, if you had things like that going on in your past, you may not calculate that and add it up to abandonment issues. And then when you get into specific situations with your current partner in your adult life, you may not be able to understand what the hell is going on with me. Why am I acting this way? Why am I overreacting? Or why am I trying so desperately to get them to do this or that? Or clinging to them? Why am I so codependent? Why do I live in such terror that they're going to do this or that? Or why can't I stand up for myself and set a boundary with them? What am I afraid of? Why am I always trying to please them? And it's actually sucking my soul out to do so because they're not returning the respect. All of those things. If you find yourself in a cycle of playing that stuff out, you need to look back at your past. Where do you come from? What went on? And it was a major epiphany for me because I've known about my patterns for years. How I look for certain people subconsciously and how I try to fix certain patterns in childhood subconsciously. How I track certain things and yada yada. But it wasn't until this particular relationship came along and we reflected back to each other certain things and we went deep into psychological work with each other and things got pretty toxic with us. And then after he had to go away and get his treatment, he's been gone for a while now, and Sloan Bella and Pete at Empath Uprising, studying with them and listening to them and doing my own psychological work, I do a lot of that. Boom, it all came full circle and came to me. So it really helped me though to realize that, because now I can work through those abandonment issues a lot better. I can examine them and sort them out, see them for what they are, and hopefully in the future either work the relationship out in a very healthy way on a very healthy level, or be able to have the self-respect and the boundaries and the knowledge to say, that's it, that's enough. And please don't get me wrong. I never said that if you're with someone and you have a traumatic past and you see some cycles playing out, that it's not real love. That you have no genuine love for them. It's just a trauma bond, nothing more. And once you discover that, well, y'all have nothing left. You might as well say goodbye. Absolutely not. Now, there are some fucked up relationships like that where they're just caught up in their head, trying to cling to somebody and have somebody till they find the next best thing. They're cheating on each other. They don't give a damn. But that's not most cases. Most cases, yes, you do have real love for one another. You do have genuine feelings for one another. Absolutely. This is not a one-size-fits-all thing. So your love is genuine in most cases, yes. But if you come from traumatic backgrounds, one of you or both of you, it's going to play out in your relationship in a very toxic and chaotic way, and it's going to keep you from being able to love each other in the most healthiest way possible. It's going to play out like that, okay? And it will get in the way, and it could possibly destroy your relationship and trigger you even worse and keep you stuck. So I had real love, absolutely. All of my feelings for my partner were absolutely genuine for who he is as a unique, special individual. All of his qualities that I saw in him, yes, and I fell for him very deeply. And I know he has deep feelings for me as well. We both have genuine and true love and deep feelings for one another. Absolutely. It's not just a trauma bond. But we need to be able to differentiate between what is real and healthy and what the hell else is going on here. Okay? And realize those specific triggers and patterns and see them for what they are and get them worked on. And stop staying stuck in the toxic cycle. So, that's that. Let me see if I have any more notes for you guys before I wrap this up. There's a couple more things I think I wanted to mention. Yada yada. I told you guys how complex it can get in the mind of a child who grew up in a traumatic, dysfunctional, chaotic background. You can be several different things at one time. You can be commitment phobic, need your space, want your solitude, not really want to be too close, and feel clingy and abandoned and insecure and scared at the exact same time. A lot of times, yes. This shit is deep-rooted and complex. So don't feel alone if you've been through stuff like that and you experience things like that. But yes, it gets very deep. Let's see. Anything else here? Sorry about that, guys. I should have been a little bit more better prepared. But I just wanted to pop this off real quick while I had time. Finish it up. I talked about Sloan Bella and Pete Sapper at Empath Uprising. I give them a lot of credit for especially the abandonment issues and what I've been realizing lately. That helped me so much. I talked about the real love, that it is real and genuine with most people. Yes, that is there, but we also, those of us who come from certain backgrounds, we also have our childhood trauma bondings that we need to recognize. Toxic techniques, let's see here. I think I just about cover it. Next time, let's see. Yeah, realize the toxic cycles. And just realize in the future that if I keep going forward with that in any toxic cycles, that it is not actually having love for my partner. It is not me actually loving with my highest self. It's not showing myself any love. And it's definitely not showing him love to continue playing along in a toxic cycle, period. Without either working through it, getting it hashed out in therapy and seeing the changes, or putting the boundary down and removing yourself from that person's life. And I know that's extremely painful. And that was where I was really stuck because of these issues. And I'm just now understanding them more deeply. Yeah, don't cling. Don't keep doing that. What else? If you don't... Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. You know, you can't grow that way. Pretty much it. I just wanted to make sure I covered everything. You can't grow. So, if you don't face these things... But first you have to know they're there. And a lot of people have repressed that shit so hardcore since childhood they're not even aware it's there. So you have to become aware of it. You have to realize it, take a look at it, examine it more deeply, get into therapy if you have to, seek some help, and face it down, because real love, the real love that you may have for each other, cannot grow if you're still stuck in your childhood wounds and toxic cycles. It just can't. And it won't. And eventually it will be destroyed. And so I knew that going in, but it was a train that was just destined to roll off the tracks with that whole situation. And it was beyond me, and I wasn't as well as I thought either. So now that I've made that discovery and I've kind of put it all together, that it is actually more than what I thought it was inside of me. I just didn't realize it, but I'm glad to now. That helps me so much, because now I can get to the source, the roots, and start weeding that out and feel far more empowered to make a decision about my relationship either way. Whether it's going to be helped in the future, it's going to be put on the line and sorted out, or we're going to go our separate ways. I will be a lot stronger in that decision because of what I have realized. Because I've been doing so much emotional work still. I always do. I've been doing that lifelong, and I guess I always will. So anyway, you guys, thank you for checking me out. This will conclude the abandonment issue, trauma bonding talk. But I will have many